We've identified 14 large-scale targets, so we're not just talking about a couple of targets here. Each one of these things is multi-kilometers in their own right, and we have many of them. So I guess we're a little bit blessed and spoiled. Maybe we've got too many targets to deal with with the budgets, and happy to say that we are fully financed for 2023.
Gary Thompson joins me now. He's the CEO of Brixton Metals Corp, trading on the TSX Venture under the symbol BBB. Gary, welcome back.
Hey, James. Good to be back. It's been a while.
It has been quite a number of years. There's been a whole cannabis market and a crypto market since the last time we talked. But in that whole time, which I guess we're talking 10 years at least, you've been busily exploring your property in northwestern BC. Just for the audience who might not be familiar, might not have been following us for 10 years, give me an overview of what Brixton's projects are all about, please.
Yeah, sure. Well, Brixton, the company trades on the TSX Venture. BBB is the ticker. We are a gold, copper explorer. And if you had asked me that 5 years ago, we had a pretty heavy silver weighting. And that company actually has 4 assets, 2 in Northwest BC, 1 in Montana that we recently farmed out to Ivanhoe Electric. And then we have a silver nickel cobalt project in the Cobalt Camp, Ontario. But the real flagship for Brixton is a project called Thorn. It's northwest British Columbia. It's actually the closest town is actually Juneau, Alaska, but we are in northwest BC, kind of the northern. If you look at, everybody knows about the Golden Triangle. It's the sort of northern geological trend of the known Golden Triangle, but a very underexplored area. And I think what changed for us really over the last, probably since about 2018, it was recognized that, and this is based on BC government geologists reprocessing of regional geochem data. This area lit up as one of the largest, highest ranking porphyry copper gold anomalies in the province of British Columbia. And interestingly, we were working in this area where, the main area that we're still working actively, but it was the area to the south of us that was lit up as this big anomaly, and it was open ground for staking in 2018. So that really changed, I think, the focus for us and the project. And it's really morphed. Now we've done 3 separate individual project deals with other companies to amass something like 2,900 square kilometer, 80-kilometer megatrend copper gold. It really is a district, a porphyry copper gold district, because what we're recognizing is not only one porphyry target, but multiple porphyry targets. And these things tend to form in clusters. But I guess, that's kind of a summary of where we're at.
Sure. So the reason that I reached out to you for this conversation was because of the last couple of press releases. I mean, these are extraordinary results. I mean, you don't see these very often. So 253 meters of 1.4 grams per ton gold, January 9th, 304 meters of 1.19 grams per ton gold. Like that potentially speaks to a rather substantial deposit with pretty great grade continuity. How far apart are these 2 holes?
Well, it's a cluster of holes. What we did is we drilled about 50 holes this year over a strike of about 400 meters. So what we're showing is good continuity over this 400 meters. And if you look back at our other releases from the summer and some of the results from last year, what we're demonstrating is, I think it's a significant new gold discovery, and it looks like we have multi-million ounce potential here. It's still relatively early because really this is our second season, and we didn't actually have this main project called Trapper. We didn't have these claims until about 2020. So it's been fairly recent addition to our big block. It's a new discovery that, what we're learning is that, we ended in mineralization down to about 400 meters from surface. So we've got this very interesting development happening, and it's still wide open. So down to 400 meters, almost 400 meters strike, and open in multiple directions. So I think next year is going to be, well, actually 2023. This season will be an exciting one to see how far we can push that limits of that.
And then really another spectacular hole you announced January 4th, 709 meters at, up to 0.61% copper equivalent at the Camp Creek porphyry target, which is different from this recent gold intercept. Is this part of the same porphyry system?
Yeah, and I guess the way I look at these is I see them as different clusters within it. The Camp Creek porphyry and the Trapper gold target are about 7-8 kilometers apart, and it's a big range because if you look at the geochem we put out, it's 11-kilometer long gold copper anomaly, and Trapper represents about 4 kilometers of that 11K anomaly. And Camp Creek is also a new copper, gold, silver, moly porphyry discovery that we made a few years ago, and that's interesting because it's a deep target. We're drilling 1,000 to 1,300 meter holes, and we're getting almost 1,000 meters. I think our longest interval was 967 or something, of 0.4 copper equivalent. So it's an interesting target. And are they similar? Well, I think there's similarities and there's differences between the two. The Trapper gold target, I guess the similarities would be that they're both related to a diorite porphyritic unit, about the same age. So I think enough similarities to say, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? And we also did some regional airborne geophysics with his electrical survey that actually has quite deep penetration, and we're seeing down to about 2 kilometers. We've got a very deep-rooted conductor below this Trapper target, and if you look at the slices from the geophysics that we have, as you go deeper down to the system to about 800 meters, it looks like these things, at least from a geophysical perspective, it looks like they merge together to form a potential deeper porphyry unit. We're not sure. That's so deep, and there's been so little holes drilled between those two targets, and again, it's 7-8 kilometers apart. So we're right now we're treating them as separate targets, and they're big enough in their own right. I think they could stand alone on their own, but it's pretty exciting, the development. We've got two real exciting new targets, and what's interesting about the project, like I said, over the last 4 or 5 years, I guess now, that we've identified 14 large-scale targets. So we're not just talking about a couple of targets here. Each one of these things is multi-kilometers in their own right, and we have many of them. So I guess we're a little bit blessed and spoiled. Maybe we've got too many targets to deal with the budgets, and happy to say that we are fully financed for 2023, and I don't know if you caught that at the end of late last year, we announced a strategic investment by the world's largest diversified miner, BHP. They took a 19.9% interest in Brixton, and so they obviously see the potential for something big at this project, and obviously they're a large copper nickel producer. We don't see a ton of nickel. We do have a couple nickel sniffs here, but I'd say it's really the copper potential that attracted BHP to Brixton and the Thorn Project.
Right. Yeah, that's I didn't see that press release, but that's kind of that's the inflection point for a company like Brixton, where they go from self-financing, self-exploration to the point where all of their good work is finally rewarded by that kind of a vote of confidence from a major industry player like BHP. So are there any other major investors at this point into Brixton like BHP?
Well, if you just go down the list, the next largest shareholder, so BHP's 19.9, Crescat Capital is in that sort of 14, 15%. They've been very supportive in several financings, and quite like the opportunity as well. Eric Sprott's still a large shareholder. Rob McEwen. Hecla Mining's there from 2012 investment. They're still holding. So we do have some good solid shareholders, and I do feel that we've turned the corner. We're in that sort of 100 million market cap now, which was always sort of seemed to be for a junior company to get over that. It's certainly opening some doors for us as far as getting into new brokerage firms and houses and stuff like that. So I feel like we've turned a corner and kind of on a different trajectory now.
Right. Fantastic. All right, Gary, well, we're going to leave it there for now. That's a great update on the project. I really appreciate your time today, and we'll come back to you in due course. Thanks for your time today.
Well, thank you, James. Appreciate it.
You
Have
bet.
a good day.
Bye for now.